My friends, let me begin with a truth that will shake the way you see your life. You don't need money to be wealthy, you need understanding. We have been taught to chase things when God designed us to chase thinking. You can take away a man's job, his house, his bank account, but if you cannot take away his mind, he will rise again. Because poverty is not the absence of money. Poverty is the mismanagement of mentality. You see, the poorest man in the world is not the one who has no possessions. It is the one who has no purpose. The richest man in the world is not the one who controls gold. It is the one who controls his thoughts. Everything you call success, everything you call wealth, everything you call prosperity begins right here between your ears. The mind is the womb of creation. Nothing appears in your hand until it has first been conceived in your head. When you read the book of Genesis, the first thing God gave man was not money, not property, not jewelry. He gave man a mind. He said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. Image means imagination. Likeness means the capacity to think and to act like the Creator himself. That means your mind is divine territory. When you think right, you rule right. When you think small, you live small. So hear me today. Wealth does not begin in your bank. It begins in your belief. It does not begin in your paycheck. It begins in your perception. It does not begin in your salary. It begins in your sense of stewardship. Most people are broke not because they lack opportunity, but because they've never managed their mentality. They keep praying for God to change their situation, but refuse to let him change their thinking. That's why Jesus never said, be ye transformed by miracles. He said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. If your mind doesn't change, your money won't either. If your thoughts remain small, your results will remain limited. You can only rise to the level of your revelation. I remember growing up in the Bahamas where I saw people living in poverty, not because they were lazy, but because they were never taught to think differently. Their environment became their education. Their struggle became their standard. They thought poverty was normal, so they never resisted it. Let me tell you, whatever you tolerate, you authorize to stay. You must learn to fire wrong thinking before it bankrupts your destiny. Because your future is not waiting on your finances. Your future is waiting on your focus. The wealth of a man is not in what he holds, but in what he knows. Wealthy people think in terms of systems. Poor people think in terms of survival. The wealthy asks, how can I make it work? The poor ask, can it work for me? One looks for responsibility, the other looks for rescue. That's why God never gave Adam a chair or a table. He gave him trees. Because God never gives you finished things. He gives you raw material and a mind to shape it. He expects you to think. He expects you to imagine. He expects you to create. If you change the way you see the world you see will change. Because life doesn't respond to your complaints. It responds to your consciousness. So today, as we begin this journey together, I want to challenge you to stop asking for money and start asking for mentality. Don't pray for wealth, pray for wisdom. Because when you have understanding, wealth becomes inevitable. That's why I say again, you don't need money to be wealthy. You need understanding. You can lose everything and rebuild it again if your mind is intact. But if your mind is broken, no miracle can make you last. Before we talk about investments, before we talk about business, before we talk about strategy, we must fix the foundation. Because wealth that begins with money will end with money. But wealth that begins with mindset will outlive you. Today, we are going to learn the 7 money mindset laws that Dr. Myles Munroe lived by, the same laws that the world's most powerful people practice without even realizing their divine origin. These are not financial tricks. These are not get-rich schemes. These are principles, eternal, unchanging, dependable laws of the kingdom. If you can grasp these laws, apply them, and manage them, you will never be broke another day in your life. Not because your wallet is full, but because your wisdom is working. Now, let us begin with law number 1, the law of stewardship. You don't own it, you manage it. Let me say something that may challenge everything you've been taught about success. You own nothing. Everything you think is yours, your house, your car, your business, your career, even your very breath is simply on loan. You are not an owner, you are a steward. Now, that word stewardship is not popular anymore because it demands accountability. But accountability is the foundation of authority. Until you understand that you are a manager, not a master, you will keep living like a beggar in a kingdom of abundance. When God placed Adam in the garden, he didn't give him ownership papers, he gave him responsibility. He said, work it and keep it. In other words, manage what I've given you. You see, the moment you start to think you own something, you stop protecting it. But when you know you're a manager, you handle it with care because you must one day give an account. Let me show you how this principle works in life. There are people praying for more income, more influence, more opportunity, but heaven is silent because God is not impressed by prayer alone. God does not respond to emotion, he responds to management. To whom much is given, much is required. If you mismanage what's in your hand, God will not give you what's in his. Think about it. The man who wastes time will not be trusted with territory. The one who mismanages relationships will not be trusted with resources. The one who mismanages a job will not be trusted with a business. God measures your future by how you manage your present. I've met people who say, Dr. Munroe, if I had more money, I'd be generous. And I tell them, no, you wouldn't. Because money doesn't change your character, it amplifies it. If you mismanage $1, you will mismanage 1,000. The problem is not the amount, it's the mindset. Let me give you a secret. God tests you in small assignments before he promotes you to big responsibilities. Before he gives you nations, he gives you a neighborhood. Before he gives you wealth, he gives you work. Before he gives you millions, he gives you minutes. And he watches how you manage each one. If you are faithful with the little, he says, I will make you ruler over much. That's not a motivational slogan. That's a management principle of the kingdom. Heaven is a government, not a religion. And in that government, increase is not given by favoritism, but by faithfulness. You see, the poor often pray for miracles, but the wealthy understand stewardship. The poor want divine intervention. The wise want divine instruction. Because miracles may rescue you once, but management will sustain you for life. Let me give you an example. Suppose you give a man $100. He spends it all on pleasure and then prays for another miracle. God may answer once out of mercy, but he will not build a system on your mismanagement. Heaven is not a charity, it's a kingdom. And kingdoms operate by laws, not luck. So I want to ask you today, what are you managing right now? How are you managing your time, your thoughts, your relationships, your money, your gifts, your opportunities? Are you multiplying them or misusing them? Because here's the truth. Whatever you fail to manage, you will eventually lose. Adam mismanaged the garden, he lost it. Samson mismanaged his strength, he lost it. Saul mismanaged his position, he lost it. The principle has never changed. God will never maintain what you mismanage. When I was a young man starting out in ministry, I didn't have much. But I decided to treat the little I had like it belonged to God, because it did. I cleaned every chair. I kept every note. I showed up early. I studied hard. And one day, God said, now I can trust you with more, because he never promotes potential, he promotes proof. So if you're asking for increase, show him your management report. If you want more clients, manage the ones you have. If you want more influence, manage your integrity. If you want more money, manage your mindset. Hear me carefully. Management is proof of maturity. You don't grow by getting, you grow by managing. And the moment you manage well, God multiplies what's in your care. That's why the first law of wealth is the law of stewardship. Because when you realize you are not the source, you stop being afraid of running out. When you realize everything you have belongs to God, you no longer cling to things, you command them. So I leave you with this. Stop praying for what you've mismanaged. Start managing what you already have and watch heaven open its vaults over your life. Listen carefully. You were not born to make money. You were born to create value. Money is not the goal of life. It is the result of purpose well managed. Money is not a master. It is a mirror. It reflects the value you contribute to the world. People who chase money will always be slaves to those who chase meaning. Because money will always find its way to the place where purpose is working. I have said many times, and I will say again, your job is not your source, it is your resource. God is your source. The moment you mistake your paycheck for your provider, you become a prisoner of wages. But when you understand that your work is the channel through which your purpose serves humanity, then even your business becomes ministry. When you read the stories of Jesus, he never chased people, people chased him. Why? Because he offered value. Blind men came to him because he had sight to give. Hungry men came to him because he had bread to multiply. Confused leaders came to him because he had wisdom to share. Value attracts. If you stop adding value, you stop attracting increase. You don't pursue success, you become so valuable that success cannot ignore you. Let me tell you something I learned early in life. If you solve a small problem, you'll earn a small income. If you solve a big problem, you'll earn a big income. Your financial level is determined by the size of the problem you are willing to solve. Poor people want escape. Wealthy people want exposure to bigger problems, because every problem is a door to promotion. There was a woman I once counseled who complained that she hated her job. She said, Dr. Munroe, I've been doing this for 10 years and nothing changes. I asked her one question: have you improved your value in 10 years? She looked at me in silence. You see, time doesn't change anything. Value does. You can stay 10 years in one place and never grow if you never increase your contribution. When you increase your value, your environment must adjust to accommodate you. That's why Joseph went from prison to palace, not because he prayed louder, but because he solved Pharaoh's problem. He translated dreams into strategy. He made himself indispensable. Value made room for him where his resume could not. Every human being here has a deposit of value, a unique solution you were born to deliver. Inside of you is an idea, a talent, a perspective that the earth is waiting for. But it will never manifest until you stop working for survival and start working for significance. Ask yourself, what problem was I born to solve? Because wealth is the reward of usefulness. The world does not pay you for effort, it pays you for impact. You are not rewarded for activity, you are rewarded for productivity. If you want to change your financial level, stop increasing your hours and start increasing your value. Stop working harder, start working smarter. Hard work without purpose only produces sweat, not success. Purpose turns labor into legacy. Now, let me give you a key principle. Purpose produces value. Value attracts resources. Resources sustain vision. That is the divine chain of prosperity. You cannot skip steps. When you produce value, money comes as a servant. But when you chase money without purpose, it becomes your master. So I challenge you today, don't run after riches, run after relevance. Don't pray to be famous, pray to be fruitful, because fame fades, but fruit remains. If you want to attract wealth, become the kind of person that wealth needs. When you improve yourself, opportunities start to recognize your face. When you multiply your skill, doors start to open that no man can shut. I have traveled to many nations, and I have met kings, presidents, and billionaires. Do you know what they all have in common? They understand value. They pay any price for ideas that solve problems. And do you know what separates them from the average man? The average man sells his time, the wealthy sell their wisdom. Let me make it plain. Your value is not in your title, it's in your transformation. If your presence doesn't change something, your absence will not be noticed. Make your life an answer, not a question. Make your work a contribution, not a complaint. The law of value creation is simple but powerful. When you find your purpose, perfect your gift, and serve it to the world, prosperity will come looking for you. Stop chasing money, start chasing mastery. Stop counting followers, start counting impact. Stop asking, who will pay me? Start asking, who can I help? When you live like that, money will follow you like a shadow that cannot be separated from your light. Hear me carefully, my friend. God never gives you what you pray for. He gives you what you can manage. Prayer does not attract prosperity. Management does, because God is not moved by your emotions. He is moved by your effectiveness. Every person in this room has something right now that heaven is watching. And the question God is asking is not, what do you want next, but what have you done with what you already have? You see, increase is not a miracle. Increase is a law. It is the inevitable outcome of management. When you handle what you have with excellence, multiplication becomes automatic. Let me take you to the parable of the talents. The master gave one servant 5, another 2, and another 1. He didn't tell them what to do with it. He simply watched. The man with 5 doubled it. The one with 2 doubled it. The one with 1 buried it. When the master returned, he didn't praise prayer. He didn't reward potential. He celebrated productivity. Listen to what he said. Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over little. I will make you ruler over much. That's the law of multiplication in operation. God only gives more to the one who manages well. Now look at what happened to the man who buried his talent. He lost even the little he had. Why? Because whatever you refuse to multiply, you eventually lose. If you don't grow it, you forfeit it. If you don't use it, you lose it. I have seen many people pray for God to enlarge their territory when they haven't even organized their tent. They want more income but can't manage an allowance. They want to lead hundreds but can't serve one faithfully. God says, show me multiplication at your level before I promote you to another. Increase always begins at your current capacity. If you are waiting for big opportunities to be faithful, you will die waiting. Big doors only open to those who honor small keys. Let me make this practical. If you want your income to increase, start multiplying your skill. If you want your influence to increase, start multiplying your service. If you want your organization to grow, start multiplying your systems. Multiplication is not a mystery, it is mastery. Everything in the kingdom multiplies by design. God commanded it from the beginning. Be fruitful and multiply. That's not just about having children, it's about producing results. It means whatever I give you, don't keep it the same. Expand it, refine it, increase it, improve it, reproduce it. I remember once talking to a young entrepreneur who told me, Dr. Munroe, business is slow. I'm waiting for the economy to change. I told him, son, the economy doesn't make you, you make the economy. You cannot wait for the environment to multiply your vision. You must multiply in the midst of it. Productivity is not seasonal, it's spiritual. The wealthy understand this law instinctively. They look at what's in their hand and ask, how can I multiply it? Poor thinking says, I only have one. Wealthy thinking says, I can turn this one into many. The same sun that hardens clay melts ice. The difference is composition. The same crisis that crushes one man promotes another. The difference is mindset. A strong mind turns adversity into opportunity. A weak mind turns opportunity into excuses. You are not waiting on heaven. Heaven is waiting on your multiplication report. God will never invest in a poor manager. He multiplies only what is already multiplying. That's why the man with 5 received the 1 from the unfaithful servant, because productivity attracts promotion. Hear me. The reward of faithfulness is not congratulations, it's responsibility. When you manage one thing well, God doesn't say rest, he says rule. When you multiply in one area, he gives you dominion in another. That's why some people keep rising. They are faithful in every season. The reason some never grow is because they despise the little. They are waiting for one day, but multiplication begins today. Take your skill and develop it. Take your time and schedule it. Take your money and budget it. Take your idea and plan it. That's how increase begins. Remember this, multiplication is not God's job, it's your responsibility. He provides seed, you produce strategy. He provides opportunity, you provide order. He provides gifts, you provide growth. If you do not manage what's small, you disqualify yourself from what's great. If you are faithful with the little, he will make you ruler over much. That's not poetry, that's policy. It's how the kingdom operates. So stop asking for more. Start multiplying what you already have. Take inventory of your life and ask, what have I buried? Because the talent buried in fear is the potential buried in poverty. Dig it up, invest it, work it, and watch it multiply. Let me close this law with a truth that can change your entire destiny. God doesn't bless what you wish for, he blesses what you work for. Faith without management is fantasy. But when faith meets responsibility, miracles become measurable. My friend, if you understand this next law, it will change how you live every single day. The poorest man is not the one without money, it is the one who wastes the most time. Money lost can be regained. Opportunities missed can sometimes return. But time is life in disguise. When you waste time, you are not wasting minutes, you are wasting life itself. You are living your life in the currency of time. Every day you are spending pieces of yourself you will never get back. That's why the wise do not say, I don't have time. They say, I have not prioritized it, because time is never lacking, only focus is. God gives everyone the same capital 24 hours a day. The difference between rich and poor, successful and unsuccessful, fulfilled and frustrated is not opportunity, it's how they invest those 24 hours. Let me tell you something important. Time is the seed of wealth. If you manage it right, it multiplies into resources. If you waste it, it decays into regret. The Bible says, redeem the time because the days are evil. Why? Because evil doesn't always appear as sin. Sometimes evil appears as distraction. The devil doesn't have to destroy you if he can just delay you. So how do you manage your time capital? The wealthy don't spend time, they allocate it. They see time as an investment, not an interval. They treat hours like money in a bank account. Every decision is a withdrawal or a deposit. Let me give you a principle that changed my life. Until you learn to manage time, you will mismanage purpose. Purpose requires schedule. Vision requires discipline. Dreams require deadlines. A dream without time management becomes a daydream. When God wanted to create order, he didn't start with light or water, he started with time. The first gift he gave creation was the cycle of day and night to establish rhythm. Because time brings structure, and structure brings stewardship. Let me say it again. You don't need more time, you need more order. I meet people everywhere who tell me, Dr. Munroe, I'm so busy. And I tell them, busyness is not productivity. You can be active and still be unproductive. The ant is small but efficient because every movement serves the colony's purpose. Efficiency is not about doing many things, it's about doing the right things at the right time for the right reasons. Now, listen closely. You can never manage life, you can only manage the time life gives you. When you waste time, you delay destiny. When you delay destiny, you deny generations waiting for your contribution. Some people are not just late to appointments, they are late to life. The rich understand this law deeply. They do not trade hours for dollars forever. They invest hours into systems that multiply even when they sleep. They delegate, they automate, they prioritize. Why? Because time is too expensive to be spent on things that don't multiply. The poor trade time for survival. The rich trade time for strategy. The wealthy trade time for legacy. Which one are you? Let me give you something practical. You can track a person's destiny by looking at their calendar, because your calendar reveals your values. Show me what fills your day, and I'll show you where your life is going. If your schedule is full of entertainment but empty of education, full of activity but empty of purpose, then your future is being consumed by your present pleasure. Write this down in your heart. Time is God's equalizer. The only thing God gives every human equally is time. The question is not how much you have. The question is how well you convert it. The wise convert time into treasure. The foolish convert time into talk. When you understand this, procrastination becomes an enemy, not a habit. Because procrastination is the arrogant assumption that God owes you another opportunity to do tomorrow what he gave you grace to do today. So I ask you right now, what are you doing with your time? Are you multiplying it through discipline? Are you wasting it through distraction? Are you investing it into purpose? Don't spend hours gossiping when you could spend minutes growing. Don't give your mornings to entertainment when you could give them to education. Don't let your clock control your calling. Let your calling control your clock. You see, God will never give you more days. He gives you wisdom to make days produce more. The Bible doesn't say teach us to have more time. It says teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts to wisdom. Let me tell you something that may sting a little but will save your life. If you don't plan your time, someone else will. If you don't set your priorities, someone else will set them for you, and they'll always set them smaller than your purpose. So from today forward, treat your time as your most sacred currency. Guard it, schedule it, seed it, because whatever you do with your time determines what your time will do with you. And remember this, God multiplies not your prayer, not your effort, but your management. If you can manage time, you can manage anything. Because time is the container of everything you will ever accomplish. So I leave you with this thought. Redeem your time. Exchange wasted hours for wise habits. Exchange entertainment for education. Exchange excuses for execution. Because every day you live is one day less to fulfill your purpose. Don't die busy, die effective. My friend, let me begin this section with a truth that separates the great from the average. Wealth is never created by desire, it is created by discipline. Desire dreams of success, but discipline delivers it. You cannot build wealth with wishes. You build it with ways, habits, structure, restraint, and consistency. Discipline is the bridge between your potential and your prosperity. You see, everyone wants the fruit of success, but few want to nurture the root of success. Everyone wants harvest, but not everyone wants to sow. And the greatest enemy of wealth is not poverty, it is impatience. Write this down in your heart. Discipline is the currency of destiny. You pay the price of self-control today so that you can enjoy the profit of freedom tomorrow. I've met many people who tell me, Dr. Munroe, I want to be wealthy like those great business leaders. And I tell them, no, you don't. You want their results, but not their routines. Because you cannot inherit the crown if you despise the cross that carried it. Discipline is doing what is right even when you don't feel like it. It is saying no to your impulses so you can say yes to your purpose. The undisciplined mind is like a leaking vessel. No matter how much opportunity God pours into it, it will never stay full. Let me show you how the wealthy think. The poor spend for pleasure, the rich spend for purpose. The poor ask, can I afford it? The wealthy ask, does it multiply? Discipline is not about deprivation, it's about direction. You don't say no to fun, you say yes to the future. In my travels, I have observed that successful people are not necessarily more talented, they are simply more consistent. They master repetition. They show up when others quit. They choose growth over gratification, process over pleasure, investment over impulse. And I want you to hear this with your spirit. Success is not what you do occasionally, it's what you do continually. A wealthy mindset is not built in a moment, it's built in motion, one decision at a time, one discipline at a time. Let me give you a few simple examples. The habit of saving a small portion consistently will do more for your wealth than sudden windfalls. The discipline of learning one new thing daily will make you wiser than your peers in 1 year. The discipline of waking up with purpose will open doors that emotion could never open. Every great destiny is constructed by daily discipline. Remember this, God will never trust greatness to someone who cannot handle self-control. Adam lost dominion not because of lack of power, but because of lack of restraint. Esau lost his birthright not because of lack of blessing, but because he traded the eternal for the immediate. That is the tragedy of impatience. The spirit of poverty is not just financial, it's emotional. It's the inability to delay gratification. It's the addiction to now. Poverty says, I want it now. Prosperity says, I will build it until. That's why the wealthy live by principle, not pleasure. They understand that true wealth is not measured by what you buy, but by what you resist. It's not how much you can afford, but how much you can postpone. Listen, you cannot build a future you keep consuming today. The seed you eat cannot become the tree you need. Every dollar you save is a soldier working for your future. Every hour you discipline is a deposit in your destiny account. When you delay gratification, you are not losing pleasure, you are multiplying it. You are trading the temporary for the timeless. The moment you master delay, you master destiny. I learned early in life that God blesses order before overflow. He will not fill a vessel that cannot handle pressure. Discipline is proof that you are ready for more. When God sees that you can say no to yourself, he knows he can trust you with others. Let me tell you something practical. If you want to build wealth, control your consumption. Don't buy to impress, buy to invest. Master your mornings. The first hour of your day decides the next 23. Guard your attention. Focus is the highest form of discipline. Track your progress. Measured habits multiply results. Celebrate consistency, not comfort. Comfort kills calling. Discipline is not punishment. It is preparation. It is training your emotions to serve your purpose. If your feelings lead your life, your future will follow your frustration. But if your discipline leads your life, your feelings will follow your focus. You see, wealth is not bought in a store. It is built in the soul. And every time you practice restraint, heaven takes note, because the law of discipline is the proof of maturity. Let me summarize this truth in 3 simple sentences. The undisciplined seek miracles. The disciplined become miracles. The undisciplined wait for opportunity. The disciplined create opportunity. The undisciplined live for comfort. The disciplined live for calling. So I say again, wealth is built, not bought. It is the reward of a disciplined mind, a focused life, and a patient heart. Stop saying one day I'll succeed. Start saying every day I'll sow. Because destiny is not a day, it's a decision repeated daily. Now listen carefully, because this next law separates those who succeed temporarily from those who succeed generationally. Your greatest wealth is not in your bank account, it's in your relationships. Money can buy influence for a season, but relationships create impact for a lifetime. The law of networks teaches us that prosperity moves through people. Every blessing God will ever send you will come through a person. Every opportunity he will ever open for you will involve another human being. That's why the enemy doesn't fear your skill, he fears your connection. Because if he can isolate you, he can weaken you. But if you ever find the right relationships, your destiny accelerates. The Bible says 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. Why? Because multiplication happens through association. You will never go further than the people you walk with. You see, your network determines your net worth, not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. The people you spend time with either dilute your destiny or develop it. They either stretch your vision or shrink it. They either fuel your faith or feed your fear. If you want to know where you'll be in 5 years, don't look at your dreams, look at your friends. Show me your circle, and I'll show you your ceiling. When God wants to bless you, he sends a person. When the enemy wants to destroy you, he also sends a person. So discernment is the difference between deliverance and deception. Dr. Munroe used to say, the most dangerous place in the world is not a ghetto, it's the wrong relationship. Because the wrong voice in your ear can cancel the right vision in your heart. But the right network can change everything. Let me give you a story. I once met a young man who had great talent but little progress. He said, Dr. Munroe, I've been trying for years, but doors never open. I told him, son, doors don't open, people do. You can pray all day, but if you're rude to people, disloyal to leaders, and disconnected from mentors, you are locking your own doors. Every great destiny is linked to divine relationships. David had Samuel to anoint him. Elisha had Elijah to train him. Ruth had Naomi to guide her. Jesus had disciples to multiply his mission. Even the Son of God built a network. Let me give you the principle. Association determines acceleration. The right people move you faster, further, and deeper into purpose. Wrong people make you slower, smaller, and weaker in conviction. If you keep company with dreamers, you will dream. If you keep company with doubters, you will decay. That's why Proverbs says, he who walks with the wise will become wise, but a companion of fools will be destroyed. You cannot walk with the wrong people and expect to end up in the right place. Now, let's be honest. Many of you are loyal to relationships that are lethal. You keep company with people who tolerate your excuses instead of challenging your excellence. They are comfortable with your past and threatened by your potential. You must learn to love people but limit access, because access is the currency of influence. The wealthy understand this. They curate their connections carefully. They spend time where they are celebrated, not just where they are needed. They invest in mentorship, collaboration, and partnership because they know that relationships are divine channels for resources. Hear me. Who you honor decides who you attract. If you dishonor wisdom, you repel mentors. If you dishonor excellence, you repel opportunities. If you dishonor integrity, you repel trust. Honor is the seed of access. When you honor someone, you open a gate to grace. When you dishonor, you close it. That's why many talented people remain trapped, not because they lack potential, but because they refuse to honor those who could unlock it. So evaluate your circle. Ask yourself, who in my life challenges me to think higher? Who provokes me to act nobler? Who stretches my faith instead of shrinking it? And when you find such people, treasure them, serve them, and grow with them. Relationships are divine economies. You invest trust, you withdraw wisdom. You invest service, you withdraw favor. You invest loyalty, you withdraw legacy. That's why Jesus said, give and it shall be given unto you. It wasn't just about money, it was about relational reciprocity. And here is the secret few understand. You are someone's divine connection. Somewhere, someone's prayer has your name attached to it. So when you live with integrity and generosity, you become a blessing conduit, a human channel for God's wealth to flow through. Let me close this law with a truth that will stay with you. Your gifts may open doors, but your character keeps them open. Your skill may start a relationship, but your integrity sustains it. Your vision may attract people, but your humility multiplies them. The law of networks is simple. You cannot fulfill your purpose alone. God designed destiny to be interdependent. You were never meant to prosper in isolation. Every elevation requires collaboration. So surround yourself with visionaries, not victims. With builders, not blamers. With thinkers, not talkers. Because who walks beside you determines where you arrive. And remember this, relationships are the only wealth that can follow you into eternity. My friend, listen carefully. True success is not what you leave to people, it's what you leave in them. Legacy is not inheritance. It is impact that continues after your departure. You see, most people spend their lives trying to make a living, but the wise spend their lives building a legacy. The question is not how much did you earn, but what will endure when you are gone. Every one of us will die one day. You cannot control the length of your life, but you can control its legacy. What will echo when your voice is silent? What will stand when your body returns to dust? That is what matters. When God spoke to Abraham, he didn't just promise blessing, he promised generational continuity. He said, through you, all the nations of the earth will be blessed. In other words, your influence must outlive your existence. Legacy is not success, it is succession. It means what you have built continues to function without you. It means your values, your vision, your voice still guide others when you're no longer here to speak. That's why I always told my students and leaders, if your presence is required for something to succeed, you haven't built it right. If everything stops when you stop, that's not success, that's dependency. But when you build systems, train successors, and deposit principles, your work keeps producing even while you rest. You were not born just to make a living, you were born to make a difference. The greatest tragedy in life is not death, it is living without leaving something worth dying for. Let me tell you something powerful. The rich leave money, the great leave meaning. Money can build monuments, but meaning builds movements. Money can fade with inflation, but meaning compounds through generations. Dr. Munroe often said, die empty. Don't go to the grave with your books unwritten, your ideas unspoken, your gifts undeveloped, your potential uninvested. The cemetery is the wealthiest place on earth, full of unrealized dreams and silent inventions. Make a decision today that yours will not be one of them. When I study the lives of men and women who transformed history, I find a common thread. They all thought generationally. They built beyond their lifetime. They didn't just ask, what will I gain? They asked, what will remain? Moses left Joshua. Elijah left Elisha. Jesus left disciples. Paul left Timothy. Legacy is not automatic. It's intentional. You must plan it, build it, and pass it. You see, legacy begins when you stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like a creator. Consumers take from the world. Creators leave something behind. Consumers spend time. Creators invest it. Consumers die and are forgotten. Creators die and live through what they left. Let me give you 3 pillars of legacy. Principles. Leave timeless truths that others can live by. Laws that don't expire with your generation. Your words can become blueprints for future builders. People. Mentor someone. Pour yourself into others. Leadership without succession is failure. If what you know dies with you, you have buried your wealth instead of planting it. Purpose. Ensure that everything you build aligns with God's intention for your life. Purpose is the only foundation strong enough to carry legacy. When you live with purpose, you build things that serve beyond you. You will design businesses that empower communities. You will raise children who walk in wisdom. You will start movements that shape nations. Because legacy is not memory, it is multiplication. Let me tell you this truth plainly. Wealth without legacy is vanity. If all you leave behind is property, you have failed your generation. But if you leave behind principles, systems, institutions, and people who carry your vision forward, then you have truly succeeded. That is why God measures greatness not by duration, but by duplication. You are not great because you live long. You are great because your life keeps living through others. So begin today. Write your knowledge down. Mentor someone. Create structures that don't depend on you. Deposit your wisdom in others before time withdraws you from this earth. The law of legacy says, whatever you do for yourself dies with you, but what you do for others lies beyond you. You are not meant to vanish. You are meant to multiply. Make your life a seed that keeps producing fruit even when the planter is gone. When my time came to leave this world, I wanted no one to say, Dr. Munroe is gone. I wanted them to say, Dr. Munroe still speaks through us. That is legacy. So my question to you is this. What will the next generation thank you for? Will they inherit your assets or your assignment? Will they enjoy your comfort or carry your conviction? Because the greatest inheritance is not what you leave in their hands, it's what you leave in their hearts. So live every day building something that will outlive your name. Let your children rise up and say, because of you, I see further. Let your mentees say, because of you, I think higher. Let your generation say, because of you, we dare to dream. Then, and only then, can you say with confidence, I have fought the good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. That, my friend, is legacy wealth that outlives you. Now listen closely, because this law will challenge everything the world taught you about money. The more you give, the richer you become. That is not a slogan, that is a spiritual principle. It is the paradox of true prosperity. The world says, keep everything and you will have more. But the kingdom says, release what you have and I will multiply it. The world teaches accumulation. God teaches circulation. Why? Because giving is proof that money does not own you. Greed says hold tight. Faith says let go. One ends in scarcity, the other ends in supply. Let me make this plain. Money is like blood, it must flow to stay alive. The moment it stops moving, it begins to die. The river that refuses to give becomes a swamp, but the river that keeps flowing feeds nations. That's why generosity is not loss, it is investment. Every time you give, you plant a seed in the soil of eternity, and God himself becomes your return on investment. The Bible says, give and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. When you give, you don't subtract, you multiply. Because giving unlocks the law of divine reciprocity. You cannot outgive the source of all things. Now understand this, generosity is not measured by amount, it is measured by attitude. God is not impressed by your figure. He is moved by your faith. When Jesus watched people give, he celebrated a widow who offered 2 coins, not because of what she gave, but because of what she kept back, nothing. Giving reveals who your master really is. You cannot serve both God and money. So every time you give, you dethrone mammon and enthrone faith. Let me tell you something I learned early. Money is a terrible master, but a powerful servant. When you worship it, it destroys you. When you manage it, it multiplies you. When you release it, it returns to you pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Many people pray for financial breakthrough, but they never pass the test of generosity. God cannot trust a closed hand, because a closed hand cannot receive. If you want God to fill your life, open your life. Generosity is not charity, it's strategy. It's how you participate in divine economics. Every farmer understands if you want harvest, you must sow. You cannot pray for crops while hoarding seed. The wealthy understand this law, that money grows only when it circulates. That's why they invest, donate, and build. They know that wealth hoarded decays, but wealth distributed develops. Even secular billionaires unknowingly follow a kingdom principle. The more they give, the more capacity they create to receive. But hear me, giving must be guided by wisdom. You don't just give emotionally, you give strategically. You give where growth is possible. You sow where purpose is present. You invest in people and projects that align with your assignment, because where you sow determines what you grow. Generosity also frees the heart from fear. The spirit of fear says, if I give, I'll have less. But faith says, if I give, God will give back better. Giving is an act of trust, a declaration that you believe the source is greater than the supply. When you understand this, you no longer ask, how much can I keep, but how much can I contribute? You stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like a channel, because the purpose of wealth is not luxury, it is leverage. You are blessed to be a blessing. You are resourced to become a resource. You are enriched so you can empower. If what you have doesn't bless others, it will soon burden you. I remember once teaching this principle to a group of young leaders. One of them asked me, Dr. Munroe, what if I give and don't receive back? I said, son, if you gave to get, you never gave, you traded. Giving is not a transaction, it's a transformation. You give not because you expect return from man, but because you trust the return from God. Generosity is also the test of maturity. When you grow in wealth but shrink in compassion, you are poor again, because real prosperity is measured not by how much you gather, but by how much you release. That's why the Bible says it is more blessed to give than to receive, because giving puts you in the position of the Creator. God so loved the world that he gave. When you give, you act like your Father. You reflect his nature. You multiply his heart on earth. And here is the paradox you must never forget. What you release leaves your hand, but not your life. It goes into your future, multiplies, and returns to you in a form you never imagined. So I ask you today, what are you doing with what you have? Are you hoarding it in fear or sowing it in faith? Are you trying to keep what God called you to release? Because what you refuse to let go cannot grow. Open your hand, open your heart, and open your life. Make generosity your lifestyle, not your event. Give of your time, your wisdom, your service, your resources. Because the more you give, the richer you truly become. And remember, you will never go broke by giving, only by keeping what should have been planted. That is the law of divine wealth. Generosity is the gateway to multiplication. My friend, you have now heard the laws that govern true wealth, not worldly riches that fade, but kingdom wealth that endures. And I want to leave you with this one powerful truth. The purpose of wealth is not indulgence, it is influence. You were never created to chase money. You were created to master it. You were never designed to serve possessions. You were designed to steward purpose. The tragedy of our generation is not poverty, it is misplaced purpose. Too many people are rich in things but poor in meaning. They have money but no mission, income but no insight, possessions but no purpose. And when you don't know the purpose of a thing, you will always abuse it. Money is a tool of the kingdom. It is not the goal, it is the vehicle. God gives you resources not to make you comfortable, but to make you capable. He blesses you so that you can build. He prospers you so that you can participate in his purposes on earth. You must become a kingdom economist, someone who understands that resources are spiritual responsibilities. Every dollar is a decision. Every opportunity is an assignment. Every increase is a test. The question is not, what do I have, but what will I do with what I have? If you truly believe that God is your source, then you must manage his supply with wisdom. Stop living like a consumer and start living like a conduit. Stop measuring success by what you keep and start measuring it by what you contribute. Remember the pattern of these 10 laws we have walked through. Stewardship taught you that everything you have belongs to God. Value creation taught you that money chases purpose, not people. Multiplication showed you that increase is the reward of management. Time capital reminded you that your life is measured by how you invest your hours. Discipline warned you that wealth is built, not bought. Networks revealed that relationships are the real currency of destiny. Legacy showed you that wealth must outlive you. Generosity unveiled that giving is the seed of multiplication. Now all these laws lead to one conclusion. You were born to govern resources on God's behalf. You are not a beggar, you are a builder. You are not a slave to circumstance. You are a steward of creation. The kingdom of God needs economists, men and women who understand the divine flow of wealth from God to man through purpose into generations. You are that person. You are that vessel. You are that steward. So I challenge you, take responsibility for the resources in your hand. Take ownership of your thinking. Take dominion over your habits. Stop blaming systems and start building structures. Stop praying for miracles while mismanaging what you already have. Because God does not bless wishes, he blesses wisdom. He does not reward emotion, he rewards management. He does not promote potential, he promotes proof. The time has come for a new generation of kingdom-minded people who can handle abundance without arrogance, who can carry wealth without worshiping it, who can lead industries without losing integrity. You were born for that. You were designed to multiply, not to maintain. You were destined to distribute, not just to display. You were chosen to influence, not just to increase. Let me leave you with this declaration. From this day forward, I take dominion over my mind and my money. I will think like a steward, act like a builder, and live like a legacy. I will use wealth to serve purpose and purpose to sustain wealth. I will not chase riches. I will create value. I will not fear lack. I will manage abundance. I will become a kingdom economist. That is your calling. That is your covenant. That is your destiny. So go forth, build businesses that serve people, lead teams that transform culture, create systems that bless generations, and use your prosperity to extend God's principles on earth. Because when the righteous prosper, the city rejoices. When stewards rise, nations are lifted. When you live by these laws, you don't just make a living, you manifest the kingdom. My prayer for you is simple. May wisdom guide your management. May discipline guard your decisions. May generosity govern your increase. And may legacy follow your name. Now go and be fruitful, multiply, and rule as a true kingdom economist.